the president is facing 3 more days of impeachment hearings this week after a second day of damning testimony and yet another conviction of one of his associates. For more on this, it's time for a closer look. Now, if you've been following the impeachment hearings, I know what you've been thinking. Where is the evidence? I mean, only 6 of the president's closest aides and associates have been convicted or pled guilty to crimes. I mean, who among us doesn't have at least 6 work friends who are also criminals? I mean, we all know every friend group has a Carrie, a Miranda, a Charlotte, and a Roger, who looks like Mary Poppins' coked-up ex-boyfriend. That, of course, is Roger Stone, a longtime associate of President Trump, in his actual outfit from the inauguration. And on Friday, Stone opened his magic umbrella and teleported himself to jail.
Roger Stone, the self-proclaimed dirty trickster and longtime associate of President Donald Trump and ally, was found guilty in federal court of witness tampering and lying to Congress about his pursuit of Russian-hacked emails damaging to Hillary Clinton's 2016 election bid.
Man, who could have guessed this guy was a criminal? I mean, he looks like a character from the 1960s Adam West Batman. When they close the door of his jail cell, it'll go wham, clink, pow. Stone is now at least the 6th Trump associate who's been convicted of or pled guilty to a crime. And I'm not even including Trump's current lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, who we found out Friday is under federal investigation for his links to Ukrainian energy projects, for 2 of Rudy's 2 associates, Lev and Igor, who were arrested in part for their role in this whole Ukraine scheme. Remember these 2? This looks like a before and after picture, except it's before and even more before. They look like they got their start in a live-action game of whack-a-mole. They look like they got fired from their jobs as mall Santas for stealing from the food court. We thought Auntie Anne's was free for Santa. Why would Auntie charge? In fact, on Friday, we also found out that these 2 dummies met privately with Trump at the White House and that they later told people they'd been given a secret mission by Trump himself.
We've learned that both of the men had a meeting with the president and Rudy Giuliani last year at the White House's annual Hanukkah party, where they discussed what Parnas describes as a secret mission to pressure the Ukrainian government to investigate former Vice President Joe Biden and his son Hunter.
Days later, we are told that Parnas insinuated to people that he clearly believed he'd been given a special assignment by the president, some sort of, and I'm quoting here, James Bond mission.
That's right. These guys thought they were on a James Bond mission for Trump. I'm sorry, but these guys aren't 007s. They're just double O's. But this is one where I might believe Trump over them. I mean, I can imagine them cornering Trump in a long, boring conversation about Van Damme movies and canned fish, and Trump trying to get out of it by just going, hey, will you guys go on, like, a secret mission for me? By the way, while all this was happening, the House was also conducting its second day of public impeachment hearings with the former ambassador to Ukraine, Marie Yovanovitch. Basically, Yovanovitch was the subject of a smear campaign by Giuliani and was abruptly pushed out by Trump because they knew she would be an obstacle to their corrupt scheme. She's a career Foreign Service officer whose credibility is unquestioned by anyone in either party, so naturally, as she was testifying, Trump decided to attack her.
The president attacking former U.S. ambassador to Ukraine, Marie Yovanovitch, during her public testimony, tweeting in part, "Everywhere Marie Yovanovitch went turned bad. She started off in Somalia. How did that go? Then fast forward to Ukraine, where the new Ukrainian president spoke unfavorably about her in my second phone call with him."
Everywhere she went turned bad. You've gone bankrupt 6 times and botched everything from casinos to your charity to your dumbass businesses. You made a vodka so bad no one would drink. Vodka! How do you screw up vodka? Only Trump. Only Trump could take something that's supposed to be flavorless and make it taste like. But the worst part is Trump tweeted this while she was testifying. He tried to intimidate an impeachment witness in real time. So she responded in real time. And not only was it a bad look for Trump, but legal analysts also suggested his tweet might have been a crime.
As we sit here testifying, the president is attacking you on Twitter. What effect do you think that has on other witnesses' willingness to come forward and expose wrongdoing?
Well, it's very intimidating.
It's designed to intimidate, is it not?
I mean, I can't speak to what the president is trying to do, but I think the effect is to be intimidating.
I think there's a good argument that given all the circumstances here, given the timing, right in the middle of this person's testimony, given the nature of the tweet, that it could be witness tampering or witness retaliation.
This could fit into federal laws that are broadly defined in terms of witness tampering.
That's right. Trump committed witness tampering during an impeachment hearing. That's like punching the bailiff during your assault trial. But I think I know what he's doing here. You see, Trump figures that if he just keeps committing impeachable offenses, Democrats will have to keep investigating those offenses, which means they'll never actually have time to impeach it. He thinks he can just keep committing crimes to run out the clock. At the next hearing, he's going to drop in from the ceiling and steal everyone's wallets like Tom Cruise in Mission Impossible. In fact, this was so bad that even Fox News had to admit when it happened that Trump had only strengthened the impeachment case against him.
The president was not advised by counsel in deciding to do this tweet. Extraordinarily poor judgment.
And that does raise the possibility of witness intimidation or witness tampering as a new charge here.
This whole hearing turned on a dime when the president tweeted about her real time. Now that enabled Schiff to then characterize that tweet as intimidating the witness or tampering with the witness, which is a crime, adding essentially an article of impeachment real time.
That's right. Trump added another article of impeachment in real time. At this point, he should just start doing DVD director's commentary during the hearings. As you can see here, that's Marie Yovanovitch. I pushed her out so I could bribe the president of Ukraine. That was a fun scene. And, oh, here's Jim Jordan. We pulled a prank on set where we stole Jim's jacket. Still, if you're a Republican, I get it. It's just so hard to say. Is Trump innocent or is he guilty? I mean, all we have so far is a sixth Trump associate convicted of a crime, two more indicted associates saying they were on a secret mission for him, his lawyer under criminal investigation, Trump himself committing witness tampering, the whistleblower's account claiming the president had clearly committed a criminal act, the notes from the call in which Trump mentions the Bidens multiple times, the part of the call where Trump tells the Ukrainian president, I would like you to do us a favor, the president's chief of staff literally confessing on national television, Rudy Giuliani going on TV and bragging about what he was doing, and like a bunch of witnesses saying, yes, there was a quid pro quo. I'm sorry, that's not enough to convict. Republicans won't budge unless we have a photo of Trump on the phone with a word bubble coming out of his mouth saying, I am doing a crime now. I mean, just take that quote where Trump told the president of Ukraine, I would like you to do us a favor. We just have no way of knowing what he really meant. It's not like Trump has said himself on camera for the entire world to see that he wanted the president of Ukraine to start a major investigation into the Bidens.
What exactly did you hope Zelensky would do about the Bidens after his phone call? Exactly. Well, I would think that if they were honest about it, they'd start a major investigation into the Bidens. It's a very simple answer. They should investigate the Bidens.
Damn it, Donald, why are you so coy? But in case you still needed more evidence tying Trump directly to the scheme to extort a foreign country to investigate his political rivals by dangling hundreds of millions of dollars in taxpayer money, you got that evidence from last week's impeachment hearings. Multiple witnesses tied Trump and his lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, directly to the quid pro quo. And one witness, Ambassador Bill Taylor, even revealed some bombshell new information about a phone call Trump had had with one of his key henchmen, the ambassador to the EU, Gordon Sondland.
Taylor said a staffer of his recently told him about this conversation involving the president and the Trump donor turned ambassador to the EU, Gordon Sondland.
In the presence of my staff at a restaurant, Ambassador Sondland called President Trump and told him of his meetings in Kyiv. The member of my staff could hear President Trump on the phone asking Ambassador Sondland about the investigations.
This was a cell phone, I take it?
It was a cell phone.
The president must have been speaking loud enough for your staff member to be able to overhear this?
It was.
These guys are such morons. Trump was in the process of committing a crime, and he was screaming into the phone so loudly everyone on the other end could hear him. That's what happens when you're used to doing all your press conferences outside next to a giant helicopter. It's like taking a date to a Metallica concert. I'm having a really great time tonight. What? I said I'm having a really great time tonight. Did you say you'd like to commit a crime tonight? Yeah! Trump yelled so loud everyone could hear him. Honestly, it would have been easier if Trump had just held a conference call and let everyone dial in.
President Trump has joined the conference call.
Hello, everybody. Thank you very much for being here. Ukraine should investigate the Bidens. And I'm guilty.
This conference call has ended.
So a witness literally overheard Trump yelling about his crime on a phone call with one of his key henchmen. And just in case it wasn't already incredibly clear what had happened on that call, we found out on Friday from that witness what happened next. The witness, a State Department official named David Holmes, testified that after Sondland hung up with Trump, he basically admitted everything on the spot.
Following the call with President Trump, the member of my staff asked Ambassador Sondland what President Trump thought about Ukraine. Ambassador Sondland responded that President Trump cares more about the investigations of Biden, which Giuliani was pressing for.
I want to read a section from Holmes's sworn testimony, his opening statement. In particular, I asked Ambassador Sondland, this is David Holmes speaking, if it was true that the president did not give a excuse the language about Ukraine. Ambassador Sondland agreed that the president did not give a about Ukraine.
He literally hung up the phone and said Trump doesn't give a about Ukraine. He only cares about investigating the Bidens. He just admitted it. It's like if you saw your spouse on their phone and said, "Are you texting a friend?" And they said, "Honey, she's more than a friend. She's my mistress." So Friday's deposition could not have made it any more clear. Not only did Trump try to extort the president of Ukraine during his own phone call with that country's president, Trump was also calling other key players in the scheme and checking in with them, too. In fact, during his deposition on Friday, Holmes also said that he overheard Sondland and Trump discussing the pressure campaign directed toward Ukrainian President Zelensky, and what he heard was both very colorful and very damning.
I heard Ambassador Sondland greet the president and explain that he was calling from Kyiv. I heard President Trump then clarify that Ambassador Sondland was in Ukraine. Ambassador Sondland replied, yes, he was in Ukraine, and went on to state that President Zelensky loves your ass.
That's right. Trump's henchman actually told him Zelensky loves your ass. I mean, it's classic bad guy talk. That's something the Wolf of Wall Street would say after snorting cocaine off a stripper's butt. Woo! Daddy loves your ass! Now, Trump has denied ever taking the call from Sondland, despite the fact that we now have multiple witnesses confirming it, although it's clear from his denial that Trump was, as always, lying.
There was one moment where Ambassador Bill Taylor recounted a conversation that an aide of his overheard, in which the aide says that he overheard you say to Sondland, how are things going with proceeding with the investigations? Is that correct? And can you fill in some more?
I know nothing about that. First time I've heard it.
Do you recall having a conversation with Sondland?
I don't recall. No, not at all.
Yeah, but you do. Anytime Trump says he doesn't recall, he definitely recalls. He always does this. You could show flashcards of the people closest to him in his life, and he'd pretend he doesn't recognize them. What? No, never met him. Doesn't look familiar. Is he an extra in The Walking Dead? I don't know. Trump has pulled this move so many times, and every time we found out that he's lying. Remember when the news first broke that his lawyer, Michael Cohen, had illegally paid off Stormy Daniels to cover up Trump's affair with her? Trump denied knowing anything about it, but we later found out that Trump had reimbursed Cohen and orchestrated the whole thing. In fact, we literally saw a copy of the check Trump wrote to Cohen. And you could tell it's Trump's signature because it looks like he was trying to draw a straight line while riding a seesaw. We already have all the evidence we could possibly need, and there's still more witnesses waiting to testify. Republicans have no defense. All they can do during these hearings is perform for Trump to earn his approval. I wouldn't be surprised if at some point this week a GOP congressman looked directly into the camera and said, President Trump, the Republican Party
loves your ass.
This has been A Closer Look.